Yeah. 1 second, I found this thumb drive. I just want to plug it in and see what's on it real quick. Go. Oh. The heck was that? Wait a second. What's wrong with my computer? So I just fell victim to one of the easiest hacking tricks ever devised, and someday you will too, unless you watch this video. In fact, in a minute, you may realize that you've already been hacked by that technique, and I'll help you figure out who did it to you. Today, we're going to go over some of the most common ways that teens are hacking other teens in schools across America, how teens are invading each other's privacy. We really need to protect you from that. The only other way that you're going to learn this is the hard way, when it happens to you and you become the victim. So even if you have no interest in this topic whatsoever, you need to know that you're sitting next to kids in class who know way more about this stuff than I do. Today, they are the ones teaching me. But along the way, they're hurting other people. So just by carrying a cell phone and being online, you have to know that you are constantly exposed to the threats and techniques that we will discuss in this video, and they will rip your world apart if you let them. So I'm just gonna check my Instagram really quick, and then we'll dive into the subject of this week's video. Ah, cool, a DM from my bestie. Click to view pics. Okay, yes sir. Wait. Whoa. What's that? Encrypting hard drive. Stop. Today, in sheer numbers, most of the hacking that goes on is actually being carried out by teens and young adults against other teens and young adults. They're hacking each other for kicks. They're doing it for revenge, or they're simply curious. The technology that we are all using on a daily basis, guys, it literally allows a stranger to open their own remote window into our private bedrooms. That's a thing. Why would a teenager want to open their own remote window into another teenager's private bedroom? If you are a student or a teacher in a middle or high school today, just know that kids in that school will be using these techniques against you. They're doing that already. This knowledge can save you irreparable harm. But two important disclaimers that I feel obligated to go over. Number one, most of what we're going to cover in this video would be considered illegal to use against another without their consent, so don't do it. Disclaimer number two, most of what we're going to go over in this video is routinely used against others without their consent. And the more naive you are on this subject, I think the more alarming you may find some of the revelations that are about to be revealed here. But that's important because the more naive you are on this subject, the more likely you are to become a victim of it. You are exactly what the average teenage hacker looks for, somebody who has no idea what's out there, no idea what the threats are, and no idea how to protect themselves from it. So listen, I'm not giving anybody the intent or the ability to do any of this. I'm protecting you all from it. This information is so available today that the average 12-year-old can easily find everything I'm talking about and much more on other videos that are much more popular than my videos are. Darn it. This video is here to protect you. Things are always changing quickly, but the thumb drive is still one of the most common ways that kids are doing serious damage to each other today. And the thumb drive is still one of the most common techniques that almost every single pen tester will use when they're hired to evaluate a new client's infrastructure. It's commonly called a rubber ducky. No, not that kind of rubber ducky. Essentially, you install malware on a thumb drive, and then you just leave that thumb drive where someone else is gonna find it, and you kind of wait. So I've had kids dump these into backpacks while their friends are changing in gym class. Sometimes they leave them on the counter by the sink in the bathroom. Other times they'll walk up to your lunch table and kind of toss it underneath or just leave it on top. And I hate to say this, guys, but a recent study continued to show that about 8 in 10 people who find an abandoned, feral, probably rabid hard drive like this out in the wild, they'll actually pick that thing up and bring it home to plug it into their laptop or maybe their work computer to see what's on it. Never do that. From now on, whenever you see an abandoned thumb drive like sitting on the floor somewhere, I need you to look at it like a half-eaten chocolate donut that's been sitting out in the sun for like 3 hours. It's got bugs crawling all over it. There's no way that you would pick that donut up and stick it in your mouth, take a bite out of it, you know? That's your attitude when it comes to abandoned thumb drives, okay? There should be no way that you would pick that thing up and stick it in your computer to see what's on it. And yet for some reason, the average human being still finds these things like irresistible. Like they feel like if they opened it up, they would find some cool stuff on it. Or maybe, I don't know, they're a nice person and they think that if they just returned this to the owner, they would get their homework assignments back. I guess I understand, But listen, do everybody a favor. Ask around at the table. If nobody claims the thumb drive, get rid of it. Like, if you must, bring it to the office so the secretary can get hacked, or better yet for everybody, take that thing and throw it in the garbage, walk away. The malware that is installed on these things, it's free, it's instantly accessible, and it works really well. This will forever be one of the greatest and easiest ways to hack people. Now, if this has happened to you recently, like you found some lost and lonely stray hard drive out in the wild, and you brought it home for some reason and plugged it into one of your machines, but you didn't find anything on it that would conclusively link it back to another human being, you've been hacked, all right? So power down your devices, do a clean OS install, check your boot logs, watch your activity and your DNS monitor for weird traffic, and then just start over again, lesson learned, and promise yourself that you will never do it again. If it happened really recently, that's when you're gonna go to the main office at school, let them know what went down, and ask them to check their cameras to see who dumped that hard drive underneath the lunch table in the morning, and that'll give them an ability to kind of track down where this all began. Now, I want you to keep in mind the screen effects that I flashed on my screen at the beginning of this video when I plugged that thumb drive into my computer. That was for impact and dramatic effects only, okay? When you do this, when you put an infected thumb drive into your computer, you're not gonna really notice anything. As soon as those files load and you can see what's on there, the scripts are already running in the background, and you might see a quick flash of your command prompt, but that'll disappear quickly. Most people won't see it. The damage has already been done. Removing that thing from your computer, it won't do anything. It's already too late, okay? So, lesson learned. That first example demonstrates for you how easy it is for a normal, innocent, kind of natural facet of human behavior to be exploited by others to compromise our safety, security, and privacy online. So with that knowledge, I think now is the time for you to realize that certain target hardening measures have to take place in order to protect you from innocent mistakes that kind of go down like that. So every single person that exists in the IT world has camera covers installed over the cameras on all of their devices, and you need to have that as well. Right? Every time you see a picture of Mark Zuckerberg sitting in front of a computer, there is a camera cover over that computer because he knows that no matter how good your security is, there are breaches that take place and we need to prevent it from affecting us in kind of life-altering ways. So go online, go to Amazon, and for $5, you can purchase a dozen of these camera covers and you just slap them onto every device that you have with a camera on it and you keep it closed. When you want to use that camera, you want people to see what's going on in front of that camera, you open the camera. And when you don't want people to see it, you close it so that even if there is an exploit on your machine, it doesn't work. They can't see what's going on, okay? Problem is solved if you can do that. This is a removable sticker that you can put on your phone. Okay, I happen to put them on the front-facing camera only because as a 40-year-old, I never use the front-facing camera anymore. I'm kind of tired of looking at myself. Teenagers, however, will probably put it on the back lenses of the camera because 99% of your pictures are probably of yourself badly lip-syncing to some cringy song on TikTok, all right? But the idea here is that you put the camera covers over the lens on one side of your camera so that if you're in your bedroom or the bathroom, you put the phone down with the covered camera facing up, and that way you can listen to music or talk on the phone or whatever without having to worry about somebody seeing something that you don't want them to see, okay? It makes it pretty easy. Now, these stickers can be easily put on the phone, they can be easily removed from the phone, they're reusable, so it's really not much of an inconvenience, and you all need to have them. By the way, did you know that most schools have the ability to take remote pictures through the Chromebooks that they send home with their kids? Like, they wouldn't do that except in cases of like theft prevention and the like, but these aren't just screenshots, they're actual pictures from the front-facing lens on those Chromebooks, okay? They can do that. It's true. It's a real feature on most school-owned Chromebooks. Ew. The next one is an important one because you guys have seen this happen on a daily basis, and I just don't know how many of you are aware of how damaging it can be. It's called face jacking. I want you to think twice before using biometrics like Face ID to secure your phone. It's there for your convenience, not so much for your security. And I know that there are debates that kind of go back and forth on this. A few years ago, Kanye West famously divulged his phone password by punching it in front of a camera on national TV. As long as you are not pulling a Kanye West with the code to access your phone, that 6-digit access code for your phone, if you keep it secure, it makes your phone much harder to get into than the Face ID thing, right? You have all seen someone at your lunch table pick up their neighbor's phone and unlock it by just holding it up in front of the kid next to them, right? Did you know how dangerous that can be? Like, I hear about stories where kids, they grab a phone and they just throw another case on there really quick so it's not conspicuous, or they just hide the the person's phone behind their own phone and slowly raise it up until it unlocks by looking at their neighbor's face. And then they can go in and in about 30 seconds change some very critical settings on that phone that are going to destroy the kid who owns it. Like, I've seen them share photo albums on the device so that every picture that's taken on the device is automatically shared to others, and the owner of the phone has no idea that's going on. I've seen people go in there and change the settings on the phone in 30 seconds to auto answer. I don't know why Android and iPhone allow that to happen, but you can go into somebody's phone and tell it to auto answer. It's really easy. And when that person walks away from the lunch table to go have a conversation with their girlfriend, anyone else can call the phone and it'll instantaneously pick up. It'll hot mic the microphone. If it's a FaceTime call, you can see what's going on through the camera. And a lot of times the person who owns the phone, they didn't hear or see anything. The phone just turns on and somebody else is watching or listening to what's happening there, okay? So if you use the code to access your device and you keep that code secure from others, you're far safer than if you allow Face ID to be the access point for that device. So this mention of basic security and basic settings is actually really important because there's something else here that I bet you didn't know. You need to power down your device on a daily basis. One of the cooler countermeasures that manufacturers are now including with their devices, it basically amounts to a kill chain that is tied to the boot process of their machines. And in English, what that really means is that your phone will generally refuse to automatically run a program that wasn't part of its original operating system. So if you happen to be affected with certain kinds of malware and you shut your system down, a lot of that malware will actually die when you turn your computer off and then turn it back on again. That's particularly true for a lot of the camera hacking techniques that are kind of popular and easy to access. So don't rely on this as your sole layer of protection, but you should know that cycling the startup process of your devices can absolutely break a lot of the free and most popular spy programs that are being used out there today. It won't work for everything, but rebooting your phone and Chromebook once a day, it should be like brushing your teeth. Just please make it a routine of what you're doing. Some of you may be wondering at this point why the label is still attached to the baseball hat that I'm wearing in today's video, and the answer is pretty clear. It's cooler that way. Duh. The next most common way for kids to hack other kids is to send a malicious link, either in an email, direct message, or some other form of communication. This is very popular in the gaming world. Once a person clicks on that link, it'll redirect them to a site that either installs malware, or it'll change some of the settings on your device, or it can just run a script that's going to keylog or take screenshots of everything that you're doing and send all that traffic back to the person who wants access to what you're doing. They can then use that to steal your usernames, passwords, and get your web history, which turns out to be a really good day for them and a really terrible day for you. So number one, don't click on links that just look weird or that you get in like a weird context. Like normally you shouldn't have to click on a link to see a picture that somebody sent you. So if somebody makes you go through an extra step of clicking on a link to get something or see something, yeah, just use your head and don't fall victim to that. Link shorteners are pretty commonly used for this. So like those bit.ly link shortener things that you really can't tell where the link goes to. A lot of times that's used to kind of disguise the nefarious nature of the link that they're sending you. So with that in mind, just don't open those kind of links on your computer. Hey mom, can I borrow your laptop? A quick look at the link will usually reveal whether it's semi-trustworthy or not. So if something comes from Instagram.com or Snapchat.com, and then there's a backslash and a bunch of other numbers, letters, or characters after it, that's probably okay. But if it has Instagram or Snapchat in the name somewhere down the link, like www, and then a bunch of words, letters, or characters, and then Instagram or Snapchat is in the link somewhere down the road, it's probably there to fool you. It's probably somebody that just created a bad link and threw Instagram or Snapchat in there to make you believe that it's a good one. So just know a little bit about link structure and be careful there. It's important that you do know that. Now, a quick note, it's really important that you don't openly trust links that are sent from your friends. Use your head here. Some of these techniques that they're used today are specifically designed to spread amongst friends, and some of your friends make their accounts like super easy to hack. So the hacker will just slide into their accounts because your friend basically left the door wide open, and then the hacker is going to use your friends' accounts to target all of the friends in that account because you're going to trust whatever gets sent from that kid's account, the posts, emails, or DMs. So sometimes your friends can be your worst enemies when it comes to this stuff. Trojan horses and beyond get into our lives through their accounts. So again, just use your head. This is a great time for me to remind you of some basic protective measures to make sure like you've got your operating system updated on all of your devices. If you have a non-phone device, make sure that it's got antivirus software on there. You want to make sure that all of your accounts have solid, strong passwords, separate email addresses on them, and that you've got 2FA active on all of those accounts. 2FA is really simple and easy. It's free. If you don't know what it is or how to activate it, you can check out my video with the big 2FA on there. We'll get you going, and we'll make sure that you are locked down and that you're definitely not going to be used to help hack some of your friends because your door was left wide open. Sometimes we're forced to log into our accounts from an unsecure machine that is not ours. And I really don't want to set off any unnecessary alarm bells here, but I do want to make sure that you're aware of what can happen. The physical security of most school computers is absolutely abysmal, almost non-existent. And any person who really wanted to could install a little device like this. This is called a keylogger. It costs $10. And anybody could plug one of these into the back of a school machine, and it's going to record everything that's typed into that machine over the course of a given day. So at the end of the day, the person can go back to that machine, retrieve their keylogger, and have the email, login, and password, I don't know, to Gmail or whatever, that every kid typed into that machine over the course of the day. And it kind of gets worse at that point because most of you are probably using a similar password for Gmail that you're using on your Instagram or Snapchat account. I don't know, maybe you put a question mark or a $sign on the end of it, right? Or you capitalized one letter instead of another one. Like, you're not protecting yourself with any of that stuff. And so if your password and login is typed into a machine that's got one of these on there, you're blown. So just be aware of how easy that is to happen, and you might want to scan the machines to make sure before you type anything into there that there's not a little device like this plugged into the back of the machine or between the keyboard and that machine. Now the good news is if you've got 2FA active on your accounts, even if somebody uses a keylogger to grab your credentials, they're not going to be able to get in there, okay? And you're going to be alerted that they're probably trying to log in but failed due to a lack of a 2FA code. And so you're going to be able to, respond and protect your account. So again, just another reason to make sure that you've got the 2FA locked down. But there are other ways that they can get into our stuff, and they can subvert even the 2FA. So this, for instance, is a OMG cable. And it's important for you to know that they exist because there are probably kids in your school who have purchased them. You can buy them online. They're relatively cheap. There's no restrictions for anybody to buy them. And what you'll do is you'll walk around with this cord and you'll either offer it to other people to charge their phone using it, or maybe you'll just leave it in a public area in the back of the classroom. And when somebody plugs their phone into this cord, it instantly goes to work. It'll charge their phone, but it'll also deliver an exploit to the phone where it goes to work, and it can cause all kinds of mischief, from grabbing data off of the phone to allowing remote access to the phone. It's really easy for people to do that. And I don't want you to be terrified of every single phone charger that you see out there, but if there are kids walking around your school like offering to charge phones like they're the ice cream delivery guy or something like that, stay far, far away, because again, this is one of those things that's out there on all the forums and people are aware of it. Don't let it be used against you. It's a great time for me to lean on you just a little bit to remind you of what you've already learned and ask you to hit that like button and that subscribe button, because you didn't have to click on this video, but since you did, you are now so infinitely better protected than the kids who are in this moment probably watching another video of Mentos being dropped into a bottle of Coke or something like that, and I did that for you. So can you please hit that like or that subscribe button? Pretty please, will you do that for me right now? And here's something else that I think most normies, most just normal people don't realize or don't understand. It's really important for you to refresh your sessions on every online account that you have as frequently as possible. What that means is that you need to log out of Instagram on all of the devices that you've ever accessed Instagram on, and then log back in only on the one device that you're using right now. If you don't log out of each session on each device and on each browser that you've logged into Instagram or Snapchat on, your session remains open and unsupervised there. Few kids are more at risk today than those who have been signed into Discord for like 5 days straight on like 3 different browsers on their gaming PC, right? So you have to go in and log out. If you logged into Snapchat or Instagram, I should say, like at a school machine, and you just walked away, even if you closed, that version of Chrome, if you're still logged in on that, somebody who knows what they're doing can jump on that machine and access your account. So you must log out of each one. It's really important. It's generally a lot easier for people to kind of worm their way into an existing internet session that you've already logged into than to just like jack your machine or jack your account from scratch. So most apps allow you to do this all at once. There's a function there that most normies I don't even think realize is there. If you go into the security and privacy settings of whatever your account is, whatever the app is, like Snapchat or Gmail, definitely Gmail is a great example. It's going to show you where you are logged in from at any given time. And you're going to be shocked to see that you've probably got like 6 open sessions of where you've checked Gmail from, I don't know, in the past month. And we need to go in and log out of all those, okay, so that nobody else can access it through there. Not every single app is going to provide you a list of all the sessions that you're logged in, but many of them do. And so you go into the account settings, into the security and privacy area, okay, find out where you are logged in from, and revoke each one of those sessions. Some apps have one single button that says revoke all sessions. You hit that button, sign out, and you reset it all. Okay, that's important to do. Occasionally, when you do this, you will notice that there is somebody logged in from a part of the world that you've never been to or on a machine that you don't own. And if that's the case, we want to make sure that we revoke all sessions to that account. And then we're going to go in and we're going to reset the credentials for our account. We're going to make sure that we've got 2FA activated. If we already had 2FA activated, we're going to clear that token and create a new one. And that's going to hopefully make sure that those people that are in our account, those uninvited guests. So man, we've gone over a ton of stuff here, and I've tried to do it as quickly and cleanly as possible. You get the idea that there's a lot of ways to get hurt online. There's a lot of ways to take advantage of people online. The tech is great, but it offers a lot of vulnerabilities for us. And so I want to offer a friendly reminder here as we begin to close out this video that accessing someone else's devices or their accounts without their permission is illegal, and you will leave a trail. No matter how careful you are, if the right people get involved, they will find you. And once those people are involved, there probably will be a prosecution. So my last warning to my good friends watching this video is that there's a lot more to know, and I look forward to telling and sharing these things with you at other videos. But if any of you are curious about using these things on your own to try to develop information on other people, my greatest piece of advice to you is don't do it. All right, listen, you're probably going to be caught, especially if you find what you're looking for on someone else's device, which is like the Pandora's box. People get really upset about this stuff, and even if you're doing this to someone who you think is a friend, their parents are the ones that are going to be pressing charges, okay? And they're a lot less forgiving than your friend will be. Trust me, this is the world that I live in on a daily basis. So I want to give another really big thank you to this week's sponsor, the NRC DAP, for their incredible efforts to empower, inspire, and protect the youngest members of their community. I encourage you all to support their valuable efforts in any way possible, and I look forward to seeing all of you at my next video where we'll share some more knowledge. So make sure that you subscribe. Do it. No, really do it. I'll wait. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button. You're going to do it, right? No, really, wait. You're going to hit that button, right? The subscribe button? Don't make me beg.